Yes. All right. So like Sinead mentioned, we're going to give you a quick introduction about what is Beauty Nation, what do we stand, what do we want, and eventually how we're going to work together. We're going to take you through the concept. We'll have a few words on the presence of Beauty Nation in Faces. We'll hand over to the Faces team because I know there's a bit of a time constraint. So they'll give you more details about Faces, and then we'll get back into Beauty Nation with a focus on the e-com. Sorry, my screen is a bit sticky. Okay. So just for us, when we started Beauty Nation was really important to understand like what was the sweet spot, what really was missing, because what we can see at the moment, and I'm sure this is something you've noticed as well, there's a lot of beauty platform that are coming to the market, but we felt there was not really one that was really sort of nailing the value proposition for primarily the Gen Z, which was like the really the target that we wanted to build in, taking into consideration that today, I mean, skincare is quite a challenging category in the region. Consumers needs a lot of education. So it's very important for us to sort of establish links almost at the beginning of their skincare journey and then sort of grow with them. So the idea for us was really to become that sort of omni-channel beauty space that is really fully curated for the Middle East, that is really there to champion as well indie beauty. So skincare, hair care, body care, wellness. So really sort of expanding the notion of skincare as it is happening anywhere in the world, where today skincare is not a very limited category, and sort of really complementing this with a lot of educational content in order to really be able to empower, engage our community, in order to sort of give them the tools to have their own education and make their own positive choices when it comes to beauty. So our vision, sorry, I'm going to minimize this. Our vision is really to be that sort of community-centric destination in the Middle East, fully curated for the Arab youth, that really is answering for a space. It is at the same time fun, engaging, relatable, because it's not about being too serious, especially when you are talking to the consumer target that we're targeting, but at the same time, really building that sort of authority, that familiarity through, you know, highly educational and trustworthy content. And our mission is really to be that sort of curated space, dropping the best and the latest of beauty in order to really, as I mentioned earlier, empowered our consumers for them to make better, more informed beauty choices. Like I mentioned, I mean, it was like the launch of Beauty Nation, I mean, historically started offline. So I think when we started offline, like the mindset was more like we were meeting like yourself, you know, a lot of these beautiful brands, so at the time more internationally, and a couple of years back, like they were not ready for, our retailers were not ready for those brands. The profile of the entrepreneurs was very different. We were not talking about the likes of L'Oreal and Estée Lauder that came up with like, you know, large means, very well organizations, very well structured. You were more like people like yourself, entrepreneurs, sort of, you know, preparing stuff like almost in their kitchens. And so the language and the dialogue with the retailers was quite challenging. These brands needed a lot more supports to be adapted to the region. So initially, like we were meeting all these brands and we were very frustrated because we felt that there was no retailers at the time that was very ready to sort of take on these brands one by one. So the idea was like, let's sort of create a space and then manage that curation, and then sort of through that space and the concept sort of start introducing these brands to the consumers. And this is how Beauty Nation was born. And then this is how we've partnered with Faces, and I'll take you a little bit back later in the presentation through that partnership through Faces. But then eventually the next step was like, okay, a lot of these brands are also coming from the social media world. So they are digital native and they have all the credentials to also, you know, have a stronger expression online. And this is how the offline expression of Beauty Nation, online expression, sorry, of Beauty Nation has started. And there was intense conversation whether is there still a space for a platform like Beauty Nation. And the idea was like, you know what, today because we're part of Chelou Group, we kind of have an unfair advantage. We have, obviously, because of the size of the group, we have a strong curation expertise because we curate all day for all the business model of the group. We have the reach when it comes to the brands, when it comes to content. We have a very strong intelligence when it comes to the market, the consumers, the trends, and so on and so on. But at the same time, and we obviously have all the very strong backbone in terms of ops and digital. But at the same time, because we're not, and similarly to the greenhouse, we're not sitting basically within the, I would say, the main structure of the group. We're more treated as a startup. We also have the agility in execution. So we really have the best of both worlds, in the sense that we can really tap into what makes a big group, but at the same time, we manage to keep the agility and, I will say, the speed to market that startups have. Our key pillars are really around curation, community, and connectivity. So curation is about obsessively focusing on our targets, so Arabic first. So it's not necessarily just in terms of language, but it's everything that we're doing in terms of, obviously, the language, but in terms of visuals, in terms of models, always making sure that whatever we do is hyper relevant for a consumer. Community, because it's really about, creating a space which is there, built by our community, for them and around them, and really in order, through the engagement of that community, create then that connectivity, where we really want to have a platform that is not purely a selling platform, but foremost like a conversational platform. So almost the act of purchase comes as a conclusion of the engagement on the platform. So like I've mentioned earlier, and I'm mindful of the time, so I'm just going to go a bit quicker. Our consumer target is the Gen Z. What's very interesting about the Gen Z, it's like really it's the first generation that has never known the world without internet. And in that aspect, they have a behavior that is very, very different than the previous generation. They are highly cultivating their communities on the digital space. They're advocating for change and status quo. And I think what was interesting is before, obviously all new generation have a bit of that revolutionary mindset and they want to change the world. But I think quite often it would have ended up on the social scene. Now it really goes all the way until, their consumptions, where they really want also the brands that reflect their values. And so their consumptions becomes almost a militant act. So they want brands today to echo their diversity, their identity, their need for change. They're very real, which I think also is quite a difference probably from the previous generation, where it's kind of what you see is what you get. It's quite raw, so which is quite interesting from a marketing perspective as well, because the way to engage them is very different. And when it comes to the beauty industry, they're sort of decolonizing it. They're all about integration, sort of accepting people for who they are, the diversity and so on. So they really sort of, pushing the boundaries first of the categories, but also of the way we are dressing people. And it's also quite a young generation. So obviously that has been very affected by the almost 3 years of COVID, which sort of really hit them in their sort of prime stage life, where it's all about engaging and community and so on. So they've been very sort of shaken by that. And as a result of that, they've really propelled a wellness shift and a mental well-being that is now more and more coming into the beauty space. So the way we've worked the offer for Beauty Nation, we really went back again to the consumers. So the group has conducted quite an extensive consumer survey across the region. So it was almost 2,000 people across the UAE and KSA, with a dominance of Arab speakers, to understand a little bit what's their main concerns. And what came out is that aging, dullness, acne, and textures are really the key concerns for our consumers. And what's interesting is that aging can start as early as 18. So it's very much like something that even for our consumer target is super relevant. So once we've understood what was the concern, one thing that was very important was the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, like skincare has always been quite a difficult access in the region. I've been in the region for I think 17 years. And since I've been here, I've been hearing like skincare is going to kick in, it's going to be the next axis of growth. And it literally took up until a couple of years to actually really seeing this materializing. Obviously, there's been quite a strong acceleration with the COVID. But however, when we're asked our consumers about their interest in skincare, there was obviously much larger interest than in the past. However, about 50% of that population were not really completely acting on it. And what was interesting to see was the fact that about 25% of the consumers were saying they had somehow a routine, and another 25% didn't really have a routine. And when we asked them what was then, you know, the barrier for it, it came down to complexity, time, and cost. And for us, again, looking back into our consumers and looking at how they actually deal with makeup, which is highly complex, where they spend a lot of money and a lot of time. When we hear that they don't do the same thing on skincare for the same reason, for us, there's a bit of a discrepancy. And it goes back down to, again, the education and empowering, because the consumers have the ability, since they're doing it on makeup, they can obviously do it on skincare. They've got the ability, they've got the skills, they've got the time, they've got the mean financial means. So it's really about sort of giving them the tools so we can really start acting onto this. And this is what we're aiming at doing. Another question that was asked was like, basically, when you shop outside of your regular network, what are you looking for? And they're looking for newness, choice, and value for money. And those were really, for us, the key elements to define what was the curatorial strategy for Beauty Nation. And it came down to really sort of building a destination for all beauty needs, being super all-inclusive. So it's beyond being inclusive, but it's about, you know, bringing newness. So going back to the consumer's aspirations through early to market innovative product and exclusive brands, but bringing choice as well, because we really want to build a space that on one hand is calling for discovery, but at the same time, you need a little bit of familiarity for consumers to trust you. So mixing those discovery brands with your must-have, but also your killer brands. And then also bringing value through a high-low strategy in terms of price points, which is something that is very, very important for us. Again, we're in a region which is very peculiar when it comes to purchasing power, where some consumers obviously have very, very high means, but some of our consumers, which are much younger, not necessarily. And we really want to be able to sort of offer a wide range of products, which somehow also reflect the way consumers are shopping today. I mean, you know, you have, like, it's cliche to say that, but shopping at Zara and having a Vuitton bag, and it's exactly the same thing that is happening today in beauty. We also want to be, through our portfolio strategy, a place for social change and a place for discovery. Social change is really, again, echoing what we were mentioning earlier about the fact that our consumers are really sort of going beyond like asking for brands to sort of echo their diversity, sort of asking for brands to almost, you know, sort of engage into some causes and so on and so on. So for us, we really want to be able to reflect that by tapping into specific categories such as sexual wellness, decolonized hair care, elevated hygienes, and so on. But also really sort of being bold to multiply the type of collaboration, because Beauty Nation is really thought as a place of collaboration. So it's a collaboration with brands, but it could be a collaboration with concept and potentially with retailers as well. And our strengths, maybe I'll pass it on to you, Sarah.
Sure. We've highlighted a few of our key unique points and differentiation point when it comes to how we want to express the brands and communicate with our community, but also establish the brand overall. So one of our main goals is to really inspire actions, whatever action that might be, whether it's a click through the website, whether it's a sharing or asking a question in a community, through visual expression. And we do that through our photography. So when it comes to product photography, and by this I mean anything that we do in addition to the amazing content that we receive from our brands. But when we want to represent Beauty Nation, we really want to have photography that speaks to our audience. It's aspirational, but also it helps us to really build on the educational aspect that Alice was mentioning. So we want to use texture to explain what the textures are and what they do. We're very much focusing also on close-ups, but just in general have a fun take on the way we present products to our audience. When it comes to model photography, again, very much linked to what Alice was just mentioning, we don't want to present Beauty Nation as a brand that kind of is emulating what every other brand does, with like perfect model, very polished. We want to keep it real and raw. So we want to really use real girls and real models, if you want to pass the word, that have real skin issues. So we're not going to shy away from showing girls with pimples or girls with pigmentation or with redness. So we really want to keep that authenticity even through our model photography, to really create that connection with our community. When it comes to, this is just to give you an overall look and feel of what we're trying to achieve. So we obviously have a lot of brand assets, but we want to infuse a little bit of our personality when it comes to other productions that we do. If we go to the next slide, this just kind of gives you an overall idea of our content strategy, which is very much still built and focused on our 3 pillars of curation, community, and connectivity. So the way we try to approach our overall content, marketing strategy, and communication strategy is really built around these 3 key pillars across all of the channels. So that would be our social, organic, and paid, what we do when it comes to email marketing, influencer collaboration, and also the content that we're trying to push on the homepage. So when it comes to curation, we really want to keep a very playful and young approach and attitude to really present our products, our brands, and introduce them in a way that it's not scaring and that feels unapproachable, because we know that the audience that we're targeting to sometimes can get overwhelmed with the variety of products and the variety of brands. So we want to keep it very very friendly and playful, and we're introducing these rendezvous kind of to create that familiarity and that need to come back to our platform. And this is just an example, the Texture Tuesday, where we break down our assortment based by textures or ingredients to really explain and give a bit of clarity on the assortment. When it comes to community, we want to become the expert best friends of our community, and really have an educational tone, but keep it very direct and open. And as I mentioned earlier, not almost like academic. We want to be your best friend. We want to tell you what has worked, what didn't work, what are the things and the products and the brands and the ingredients that you have to try because we've tested, and you have to try them. So we're also trying to break down some of the main concerns of the region, like hyperpigmentation, for example, and really break it down in a way that is easy to understand, and it's easy to empower our community to take a decision. And if they have the concern and if they have a specific issue, we want to give them the chance to say, okay, now I know what it is, I know how to treat it, and these are the products that can help me solve a specific solution. We're going to launch soon another rendezvous called Ask the Shilla, and I'll explain a little bit more later what the Shilla is. And then when it comes to connectivity, we want to really have a two-way dialogue with our community, and really everything that we do should always have this notion of empowering. We want to empower our community. We don't want to necessarily position ourselves as yet another retailer where you go and buy beauty products. We want to be the place where our community comes to discover, to connect with the rest of the community, to exchange information, and we want to do it in a very conversational and caring way. So this is just another example of something that we want to, that we will launch very soon, the Self-Care Sunday, where again, it's not always and only focused on products and selling items. We want to touch on topics that are more linked to their well-being, mental health, sexual health, again, to keep the conversation going and very open. If we go to the next slide, a little video. Here I just kind of broke down what do we mean in more details when it comes to curation, connectivity, and community, the type of content that we will be featuring. And this is how also we work with the brands of our portfolio when we ask for content or when we create content specifically here in-house. For curation, this is the area where basically we're using it to introduce brands, introduce products or categories, really explain, again, with an Arabic first approach, what ingredients do, what the benefits are, and really, again, give almost like a toolkit to our community to make informed decisions along the step in their skin discovery. When it comes to community, in the next slide.
Trying to switch.
No worries. Yeah, when it comes to community, as I mentioned earlier, this is where we want to be educational, but again, in a fun way, and really promote the voices of our community. So we want to try and push for as much as possible user-generated content, real reviews, real experiences, and we want to promote and make sure that the community feels like they have a voice and they have a platform to share their voice. So we're going to launch our rating and review system with our loyalty program. So this is kind of the area where we see this type of content fit the best, along with explaining how to integrate routines and simplify it, because one of the finding and the learnings was there's too many steps in the routine. I don't have time. I don't know what to do. So we really want to break it down and make it simple for anybody to understand what exactly they need specific to their concerns, and empower them to make the decision on their own at their own time. When it comes to connectivity, this is where, again, we want to really emphasize the empowering touch of our communication, where we want to initiate conversation about certain topics, but not be afraid and not shy away from even the more taboo ones. And this is where we want to create that connectivity between all the different channels of our communication, so social, website, and email marketing, promoting the different features, for example, the podcast, and other features like our loyalty program, to really create that 360 ecosystem for the community. Skin education, again, it's very much linked to what Alice mentioned at the beginning, and the main challenge that we see here in the GCC. Customers, young and old, they want immediate results. They see something that they don't like, they want to fix it straight away. And obviously with skincare, hair care, and in general, anything that has to do with your body, you need to trust the process. It takes a longer time. So we really want to emphasize this skin education and kind of take our community on a journey to self-skin discovery and empower them with the tools to understand if this is your concern, and if this is your issue. Why do you have this, and what are some of the ingredients? What are some of the practices? What are some of the solutions that you can try to solve that? And this is kind of at the core of everything that we do, to really attract customers, take them on a journey with us, and really retain them. And also something that we want to mention, and we like to mention, is we're approaching a relatively niche group of people, because we're targeting young Arabs in the region. But the idea and the reason why we were so specific is that once we have this group of people and we empower them now, they're going to be the customer of the future, and we've taken them along this journey with us. And this is how we want to create the longest retention and the most loyal customers that will be with us for the rest of the days. These are just some examples. And just quickly on the tone of voice, it's very, very important for us to keep an Arabic first approach, because it's very important to explain, and it's very important to emphasize that we're here for them. If we want to be a brand for local, from the region to the region, we really have to make sure that everything that we do is done with an Arabic first approach. And this is what we're trying to do across all of our channels. So when it comes to e-com, when it comes to social, editorial content, we always try to have an Arabic first approach. And this is also linked to the type of partnership that we do, for example, with dermatologist or expert, to really make sure that we position ourselves as that authentic, trusted best friend that you would go to if you had any issues, because obviously word of mouth and family recommendation are still very relevant and important in the region. So we want to be able to be that brand and that platform that they can associate and trust automatically when it comes to skin well-being and hair concerns in general. Is there any questions so far? All clear? Good. In terms of tone of voice, again, the way that we translate it is still very much linked to our three pillars. So we want to be playful and fun, and have always a positive tone with everything that we write and how we create content and position our content. Again, we want to be that expert best friend that you call whenever you have an issue, with a very direct and open communication. And we're trying to translate also this empowering touch through very thoughtful and mindful way to reassure our community that they're unique and they're fine, and the beauty of them being unique is almost their powerful, their strength and their power. So we're not trying to say this is the type of skin that you need to have, this is the type of person and the type of routine that you need to have to be perfect. We're just very much empowering individuality and uniqueness of our community with everything that we do. Now, to take you through what the Shilla is. So we're soon launching our very own unique community called the Shilla. I'm probably not pronouncing it well in English Arabic, but basically the Shilla is a group of people, a group of familiar people, your friends, your family, your trusted circle, inner circle of people that you go to if you have any issues. So the Shilla is basically our loyalty program and our community program, where we really want to create loyal customers and turn them into our marketing machine. So we really want to empower our community, give them a voice, and make them feel like they belong to a safe space. We're basically trying to step away from a traditional loyalty program where you earn points if you make a purchase and then you can redeem the points against a discount. We're creating a loyalty program that's very much linked to the community and the engagement and the activity of the community. So we're rewarding them for sharing reviews, for sharing and creating content for us where they try the products and they really share their experiences. We're rewarding them for being active on our social channels. We're rewarding them for giving us feedback on specific product launches or new brand launches. So we really want to emphasize again that 360 conversation and very authentic exchange between Beauty Nation and the community with this loyalty program called the Shilla. It should be live within the next few weeks. So I think when we'll onboard you guys, we will have a lot more that we can share and activate together with you. And I think there's just one slide that kind of explains, it's a loyalty program that goes, as I mentioned, beyond just earning and burning points. We're offering perks to the community for being part of it and for being an active part of the community. We will have different tiers with different qualifiers and a dashboard for the community to understand how their activity is on site. And we really wanted to have these rules of engagement that are very much linked to their activity and their contribution to the community, to promote real and authentic content when it comes to reviewing product, reviewing brands, sharing experiences, or even asking questions and just sharing their opinion.
I'll take over just to introduce a little bit Beauty Nation in Faces. So like I mentioned very quickly on, Faces has become our best solid partners for the offline presence. So the first Beauty Nation door was actually in 2017 in Triano, but with Faces new concept, then we started to partner, and it's been like a very fruitful and collaborative partnership since then. So we started in 2019 with 2 doors, and we will close the door the year sorry with over 47 stores. We initially had 76 brands, and we're going to close the year with over 140 brands. We have an increasing growth due to obviously the fact that, I mean, as a new concept, we obviously were building a lot of traction, but also we've also benefited from the growing interest of skincare and indie beauty. So it was quite the right combo for us. And we're aiming to close the year in Faces at almost 30% of their skincare market share. There is just an example of how Beauty Nation looks like within Faces. So we have a very clear dedicated zoning. So in all of the spaces that we have, there is a dedicated space for Beauty Nation with its own logo. So it's very clear for the consumers that they're stepping into the Beauty Nation area. We have the ability in the key stores to also leverage the animation area and then recall some of the activations or key features of Beauty Nation. And we have a clear and evolving merchandising. So this is the look and feel that you're having. So on the right hand side in some of the stores. With the launch of the website as well, we are sort of reviewing the brand identity in order to make it more consistent. So we are also going to step by step start reintegrating some of the iconography, color coding that we're having within the website in the offline world in order to have a very consistent brand. I'm not going to talk about the e-commerce because Sabrina will take you at length later through this, but just by the end of the year, basically, so Beauty Nation will be a consolidation of over 150 brands. We're aiming to have 10 completely new to market brands, and this was without you guys, so even more exciting to have you into that list. It's going to be a network of over 50 point of sales. So you've got obviously the 47 doors of Faces, but you also have Triano. We've got Saks in Bahrain. We have now the 2 e-com pages for UAE and Saudi, and the Beauty Nation landing page on faces.com as well for UAE and Saudi. And we're aiming at having a consolidated turnover of $3 million, with about $1 million that will be done online across the own.com and Faces. And I think I'll leave it here and pass it on to Faces team.
Thank you, Alice. So I'm going to share the screen quickly to take you over like what is Faces. Let me know if you can see the presentation.
Yeah,
Yes,
can
we
see
can
it
see
on
it,
the
Sophia.
slide.
Perfect. So this is currently the look and feel of the new Faces stores. Like we started the renovation of our stores some years ago in order to give them a great look and feel for our customers to feel a global experience there. So what is Faces? Our vision is that Faces is from the region and for the region. We've been in the region for more than 20 years now, and we want every customer to experience the beauty in a personalized way and a surprising way. And also our mission is to create a bespoke beauty journey for our customers by offering them an outstanding curation of products, bringing new technologies with a human touch, and introducing to them new experiences. We, for instance, have in Facings like beauty rooms where we make the customer feel very good with some facials and things like that. Our store network by end of 2022 will be around 72 stores that are splitted by country with 46 stores in KSA, which is our main market. And we're one of the biggest retailers there. Then 4 stores in UAE, 3 in Kuwait, 3 in Jordan, 12 in Egypt, 2 in Qatar, and 2 in Bahrain. And we also have franchise in Lebanon, Morocco, and now we're getting into Latin America world with Colombia and Costa Rica. We also have 5 online websites in KSA, UAE, Kuwait, Egypt, and Qatar. Our portfolio. So we split our portfolio in many different categories. It comes with skincare with around 130 brands, fragrance with around 86 brands, hair care with 22 brands, makeup with 34 brands, and wellness, which is a brand new subcategory that we're looking into and that where your brand can fit well with 5 brands. And an overall level, we have more than 265 brands, including 30 exclusives, and we split it in 3 categories with international brands that you all know, I'm sure, such as Dior, Chanel, Gucci, some indie skincare brand that we've been introducing those past years, such as Personal Mortar, Frank Body, Derma Doctor, and that bring differentiation to our store. And also, as we are a retailer from the region for the region, we definitely look at introducing brands from the region, such as Dignit or Maison Body Care, which is a Saudi brand, Delarta, and so on. How does our stock look like? So for the skincare category, we have 2 ways of expressing the brand. First, as Alice said, it's within our Beauty Nation concept, where it's mainly a place for customers to step up into finding the new trendy skincare, indie skincare brand, to discover new types of products and new types of brands. But we also have within our store an area that we call beauty multi-brand area, where we can find the biggest skincare actors, such as Clarins, Shiseido, Estée Lauder. We also have within our store a new category that is called home fragrance. And we're in Faces, one of the pioneers of expressing the category. And this project has begun like by last year. So we're rolling it out within our doors and it's performing very well. And where we're also very strong is our fragrance category with the 3 Axis brands such as Guerlain, Givenchy, Lancôme. The commercial fragrances that we have, such as Paco Rabanne, Gucci, and also the niche brand and private collection. So what's our key rule? Our key rule is that the consumer is key. That's why we have a whole program around consumer centricity. First, with gifting station, we know that we're a destination for gifting. That's why we give to our customers many means like gift box, wrapping paper, stickers in order to have the perfect gift. We also have in our store engraving machines. So it's when someone buy a fragrance, he can engrave it properly, and it's a nice gift for this fragrance. And also we've introduced gift cards, as we know that it's very, very popular. Also, we have other means, which are Faces app. So it's a brand new app that's available on Android and App Store in order to be key like for the customer to use. We have a loyalty plan called Muse, which is a Shaloub Group loyalty plan, where our customers can collect points, unlock rewards. And finally, we just introduced the Buy Now, Pay Later, which allows our customer to purchase the product they need and either pay it in 30 days or split it into easy payments. On top of that, when we launching a brand, we have a full 360 that comes from offline and online. So first, within our trade, we give a nice in-store visibility. Sometimes the brand can personalize their fixture when it comes to beauty multi-brand area. And in Beauty Nation area, we ask the brand to bring like some glorifiers in order to explain more about like the environment of the brand. Also, we need like sampling in order to make the brand discovered by customers, and we often do like cashier sampling. The second pillar is the media. So we push the brand through organic content within our social media and also our marketing tools. The third one, which is very important in the region, is the PR. So when we launch a brand, we send it to our influencer that we're partnering with, so they can say more about it, like spread awareness around it. The fourth pillar is the CRM. So we have a strong CRM, and we send to our database the detail of the brand and the product when we launch one. And finally, with the e-com, we give a strong visibility to the new brands we're launching through like pushing notification through the app or like dedicated hero banner. And what success look like for us at Faces? So we're giving you here like the key of the success that we've seen with other brands that we've launched within Beauty Nation. So the sellout target is around 4.5K USD per month. And how can you achieve it? First, it's very important in skincare to have sampling to make people try, because they can only buy if they try and they see that it's a good product. Also, there are key periods in the year through sales and Black Friday where we need the brand to make some promotion in order to convert the customer by buying this brand. The third main thing to achieve this target is training. So we need our staff to be aware of the brand and what's the differentiation of this brand and products compared to another one, and give them educational content so they can spread the word better within our customer. What we've seen through our experience is that the winning products are also the sets and the bundles. So when a customer see that there's a good offer in the bundles or there is a routine in a set, it's easier to purchase for them. Also, sometimes we need a brand promoter in the store in order to push the brand, in order to explain it better. And this can be done like on every weekends or 3 days a week. And we definitely see the difference where there's a brand promoter in store. And finally, the delivery from the brand should be direct to the store or to the e-com warehouse in order to be sure that we always have the right stock for the brand and within our store and e-com warehouse.
Just touching super briefly on the e-com side of the business at Faces. So first of all, some technical kind of information for you guys that is applicable for both onboarding on offline and online. So here is just a list of documents that we will need from you, possibly as soon as possible, in order to kick off with our supplier creation and make sure that you guys are ready to be listed online and offline. So I won't go through every single detail. I have shared already the documents as well with the team in the greenhouse, but I will, myself and Sophia will follow up after this meeting as well with each of you to make sure that you know who's your point of contact is and what exactly we need in terms of timelines as well to kick off the registration and have you set on site as soon as possible. Just wanted to highlight in terms of, oh, sorry, go back one sec. Just wanted to highlight in terms of differentiation of the process of onboarding offline and online. So obviously for online, we need more content in terms of visuals and in terms of copies versus offline. So every single point up until F works for the supplier creation for both online and offline. When we're talking about item creation file, this is literally your barcode, your cost prices, and technical part of the single SKUs. And then this is where we're splitting between offline and online. So for online, we would also need the PIM file, which is the content creation file. Assets, obviously I will share with you all the guidelines for what we need, and product content when we need at least 3 images per SKUs in order to have the product appearing on site. And this is just a quick overview to show you how the representation on site for the brands will be. So we will create a dedicated kind of page both on our e-com platform and on the app with the Beauty Lab, and then we will have every single brand having their own space under the page, where then if you click through each single brand, it will take you through the listing page and a couple of information about the brand and so on, and we can definitely work together in terms of how to merchandise it at best. And then just wanted to touch upon a couple of kind of initiatives where we can really be pushing the brands and that are very e-com specific. So again, I think we heard it from Beauty Nation and we heard it from Sophia as well. Key for the region and key for the category is definitely education, and we want to make sure that we're pushing it on a 360 approach. So we are really looking into our masterclasses and kind of live session for e-com and making sure that we are breaking that gap and removing the barriers between online products and customers. How we're doing this by making sure the customer can pre-book their masterclasses and their kind of educational content that they want to access to, and then delivering to them ahead of the masterclass samples so they can touch and feel the products, and then be asking the right question during the one-to-one time or the collective time that they're having with the specialist. We also know how relevant and important the dermatologist's opinion and kind of feedback for the region is, and any skincare specialists as well. So we are building on site a section where we're really going to be focusing on dermatologists, where we are linking both with external and independent dermatologists and linked to brand dermatologists as well and skin specialists. To really make sure that we are giving to our customers the opportunity to drill down by skin concern, best products, and access, like, you know, the right tips and the right kind of educational content, as well as being able to be booking their one-to-one consultation with the specialist as well. So if you guys are already partnering with any skin specialist or any dermatologist within the region, or you are in conversation of doing that, we can definitely support that and create a bespoke kind of package to pitch this initiative together. We also have already live on site our Skin Advisor tool that I believe will be also available very soon in store. We are revamping the look and feel of the tool to make sure that it's more updated and more inclusive in terms of the routine, offering a 360 approach, including SPF and tools as well. Just for you guys to understand how the tool works. If you haven't tried it, it's live on site. I will suggest that you do that. You can just take a selfie that will be absolutely anonymous and then will be deleted from the system. Answer a couple of questions on your skin and what your concerns are, and then the app will give you like a very detailed scan through in terms of what your skin needs, and add to your basket a full skincare routine for morning and evening, and give you like very detailed explanation on why you should be needing this product versus another. We also add in the opportunity for customer to look through products review and really download and deep dive a bit more into their specifications. And then again, talking about educational approach, we are reopening and relaunching our blogging. That will be featured, like, you know, tutorials, editorials, dermatologists, and events kind of conversation. It will be a great place to really educate and engage with customers. We want to make sure that we are covering a variety of topics as well as promote new products and new brands. So I think it will be really interesting to be partnering with all of you to understand what content we can put together and really be pushing the educational side of the brand, because I know that they all have incredible stories behind it, and we want to make sure that we are definitely sharing those with our customers. We also know how important sampling is for each and every single new brand and new product, as well as bestsellers. We know that, as Alice was mentioning as well, one of the concerns the customer have is definitely the price points of certain skincare products, given how small the category still is. So we have added a feature on our site where a customer will be able to try a sample before they buy the full size. So they will be able to redeem the checkout sample free at checkout, and then have the delivery fee converted back to a gift card to be purchased in the full size. In the second part of the trial of the process, all the customers that have been clicking through the same product for 2 or more times but haven't purchased it yet will be able to access the free sample, as we know that there's a very deep interest in the product but not yet a conversion. And then we also adding the opportunity for customers to pick their own sample at checkout. Up to 3 samples at checkout can be added to their cart, and it will be 1 per category to again really encourage conversion and new product trial. Each sample will obviously be trackable to facilitate conversion and have a better customer insight as well. We also have already live on our site, and we will be extending further to our full portfolio. And I think it would be a very good opportunity to have you all guys included in the program. And our auto refill subscription, it works exactly in the same way as your Amazon subscription, where customer can just select a product that they love and just subscribe to it on a monthly, bi-monthly, 6-monthly basis, and save up to 15% or get double points for each repeated order. This again will encourage brand and product loyalty as well as customer retention. And I think this will be my last slide. Just wanted to touch upon our beauty boxes as well. Every month we curate and create bespoke boxes for our e-com platform. We have historically been doing boxes by category, but from this month we actually have been doing cross-category boxes by focusing more on themes, and we are expecting a huge success. So keep your eyes peeled on site as they will be launching very soon. Those are, as I was saying, theme boxes focusing on like very key kind of activation like summer and glowing skin, or travel sizes as well, that we know are very trendy and very looked at the moment. And this is also a very good opportunity to get customer to discover new products as well. It's a mix between full sizes and sampling sizes. We usually ask for 30 units of products per region, so 30 for UAE and 30 for KSA to participate in the box. That was it for me. Any question?
No questions, but I just wanted to say this has been fantastic already, very informative. So thank you so much for I'm sure there will be a lot of questions coming, but for now, just I'm sure I'm echoing maybe what other brands are already kind of thinking. But from my end, it's very, very helpful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for the feedback.
Yeah, so I was wondering as well if we're gonna get the presentations.
Yes, of course, we can share that. Yeah.
Thank you.
We will share the presentation, and we will also share kind of, as I was mentioning, an overview of all the documents and what they are or when they are needed by, as well as who will be your main point of contact for each department to facilitate. I know that you guys are meeting so many people, probably forgetting half of the names and half of the faces straight away. So yeah.
Thank you, absolutely. And we're excited to be on board Faces and Beauty Nation.
Amazing.
I could be jumping the gun, so please just tell me if we're going to cover this later. With the in-store situation, will you guys be giving us guidelines, sizing, etc., for any retail displays that we would need to provide as a brand?
Yeah, we work later. We give you the guidelines of like what you can provide, but it's mainly like an A5 show card to display within the shelf, so we can know better about the brand. But we can give you more details about it for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That was a really, really helpful presentation.
Yeah. I just have one question. I think a drive was shared yesterday with the branding folders. Is that related to the documentation I think we have to provide?
No, so that's that was given by the Content Factory.
Okay.
So you're meeting those ladies tomorrow, and
Okay.
basically it's actually going to be a combination. So we're trying to have one center point where you're going to put all of these assets, because us at the greenhouse, we're going to be using it, Faces are going to need it, Beauty Nation's going to need it, and also the Content Factory. And as you'll find out more from tomorrow, the Content Factory is actually going to assess all of the brands and your assets and try to understand, is there something that everybody is missing, or is there a certain thing, so that they can understand how they can best help you, especially when it comes to creating content that's going to be used for performance marketing. So yeah, so you each have your individual folders, and then over the Eid break, just to populate those, and they'll go into more explanation of what goes into each folder and stuff. But good question, because I forgot they shared it with you yesterday.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I have another question regarding Arabic. Will we be able to lean on either the Beauty Nation or the Faces team or the Content Factory for either Arabizing any logos, any content? You know, our brand particularly has a lot of educational content in terms of tutorial and that type of thing. Or would you recommend that we look at a freelancer that you could recommend, just to make sure that we nail the correct language that you guys use across your social and your website? I know it's very nuanced the way you speak to your audience on Faces versus Beauty Nation. If you have in-house translators or copywriters, how would that be the best way to approach that?
I'm speaking for Beauty Nation in terms of social assets or social captions. We do this in-house. Anything linked to product description, we don't have a resource with us, so we outsource to a freelance translator. I'm not sure Faces. I think there's a copywriter in Faces team.
No, so we do the same as you guys.
Okay.
So anything that we publish on our social media channels, so like CRMs and so on, we can translate in-house. But anything that is kind of product related, so the files that I was mentioning before, so your content creation file or your product creation file should come to us already translated if possible.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I just know that there's certain words that there wouldn't necessarily be an Arabic word for, so like solution wear as an example. So it's something that we would need to address. So if you have any recommendations for preferred freelancers that you know will get the language correct, that would be really helpful for us.
We also have a Arabic copywriting manual that we can share with you, which kind of highlights words that we would use, words that we wouldn't use, tone of voice, etc. So we can share that with you.
Fantastic, thank you.
And again, I think that Content Factory as well can do some bit of helping tomorrow, because I'm not 100% sure or not if they have someone in-house, but I know for our social content that they've done the Arabic translations for us, so we can look at that and stuff as well. But so I'm just conscious of the Faces team. So as Monica mentioned, and Sophia, thank you so much for your time, ladies. They're going to follow up with an email, so I'll send them all your email addresses, just so again that you have anything that's needed for timeline wise or any applications that need to be filled out. And I think using the Eid break to gather all that information, so when they come back they have kind of everything at hand, would be amazing, because as I was mentioning, it's either going to be the first or second week of June that it's going to be looking that we try to have everything go live. So it'll be quite tight. But thank you, Monica. Thank you, Sophia. I think we're going to move on now to come back to Beauty Nation. And Sabrina is going to carry on the presentation from here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I'm just unmuting myself. So let me try to share my screen. What I'm sharing. I am sharing. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, you're on.
Cool. So beautynation.me. So first thing first, it's happy day for us. So we have finally launched our platform the 1st of April. So Beauty Nation, what I'm going to show you through those slides and for the time of my presentation. So I'm not going to repeat all the introduction from Alice and Sarah, but I'm just going to show you how our pillars, connectivity, community creation, and our tone of voice are translated into the e-com platform. How do we have embed the discoverability and inspiration path, as well as the recommendation and education, again, with commerce into our flagship store, because beautynation.me is our flagship store. It is also our media platform. So we are Arabic and mobile first. So right now, again, we have launched only on the 1st of April, so it's quite early stage. Nevertheless, since the launch, we can see that our split in terms of country is mostly in KSA. So 63% of our traction traffic comes from KSA. It is 75% English right now and 25% Arabic. While in UAE, we have 37% of our traction that is coming from UAE, with 85% of English and 55% in Arabic. Again, this is very much early stage, so we're going to see how these things are going to pick up, especially in terms of languages. We are definitely mobile first because this is very much impulse by the market. So in terms of screen split, you can see that to date, 85% of our traffic comes from mobile, 3.5% come from tablet, and only 1% come from desktop. Okay, so the beautynation.me right now is very much an MVP site. So it's our, let's say, phase one launch. So we don't have all our features on the site right now. So we are kicking up right now the phase two, that is around announcements. So we are going to be adding up to what we have right now on the site, a brand page, shop in shop, and that will basically support your onboarding actually. Add category pages, offer page. We'll have also a service page that will group all our unique select points. We'll have like tactical shop as well created, for instance, a Ramadan shop, or if we want to have like a summer shop. We'll have a sticky audio podcast. I will walk you through our podcast feature, but right now, basically on the podcast, when you leave the page, you lose the audio. So we are looking at having something that is much more sticky with an audio that will keep playing while you are browsing the site. We will also have buy now and pay later installment moving forward. And we are also working on user experience optimization because again, it is our MVP version right now. So before I walk you through the site like a live stream walkthrough, I just wanted to show you the different features that we are preparing as well that will be launched moving forward. So first, this is our disruptive and exclusive feature that we call the voice of skincare. So this is to tackle our connectivity pillar and to engage the Gen Z target through an innovative format. We know that Gen Z, because we want to be educational, but at the same time, we know that Gen Z don't really read. So we need to find another format to engage with these targets. So we'll have like educational podcast that is very much having like different podcasts on different thematic and having a library there. This part of the podcast is the usual one, so you can already see it everywhere. So that's not what is really exclusive. So then we'll have audio pages, that is an exclusive feature. So basically the customer will be able to browse all the content of the site. It's not a text to speech, so it's not the functionality that you have, for instance, on your mobile, that is like quite robotic. It's very much going to be registered on Studio with professional voiceover or if we want to do that with you, for instance, with the founder of a brand, and it will support the browsing of a page. So basically, they will have a button, I click on it, and we'll be able to talk them through the content. Then we'll have a podcast commerce. That is our exclusive feature. So we can listen to a podcast while we are shopping the related product. So it's very much about embedding a podcast with a commerce component. And this one is already live, and I will show you later how it looks like on our website. So we'll be able to tackle the different touch points on the purchase journey: learn, consider, and shop. So the podcast is a rising trend in GCC. So more and more, I mean, we know that it's a rising trend worldwide, but it's also a rising trend in GCC. The audio pages will be exclusive, and the podcast commerce will be basically a distortion of a regular podcast. Then we want to create a brand advocate and develop a path to trust. So we are looking at two different features there. So one that is already kind of live, it's not our feature because it's live on social. And Sarah was mentioning that earlier, how we can have like a live stream conversation or rendezvous between Beauty Nation or a brand to speak directly with the customer. So supporting our promise of you speak, we listen, and we drop. We are also looking at a feature that will be more about the community and how we bring this community from social directly to the site and embed within the, again, purchase and consumer journey on site, and have this interactive tool where we can, for instance, talk about a topic here. On the example is acne, tell us about your acne routine. They can start to post on the page, and we can answer, and they can also answer to each other. So this one will be very much to tackle the community pillar and bridge the Gen Z skincare expectation with a brand proposition. So we will be very much the intermediary to put together the brand and the customer and let them directly discuss together without, you know, interfering. So live stream distortion and live chat distortion. Personalization, so to tackle the pillar of curation and how it's going to look like on site, or how we are going to operationalize this pillar. So we are going to infuse rich content into oh, sorry, this is not the right copy paste. Sorry, this is a mistake on the slide. So basically, we are going to provide personalization for the connectivity. Sorry, so there is nothing more. There is nothing to connect more to you than one-on-one. So instead of having, like, for instance, already created box, we want to have your box, so basically a DIY box where you can pick and choose across different products and build your own box. So that also be for us a good tool to surface some exclusive product or a new product or niche category to the box and be able to be super targeted instead of having box where you will have like 6 products and maybe, you know, that not all appeal to you. The other one would be our virtual consultation, but it's kind of a mix and match between one-on-one consultation and sampling redemption. So basically, you buy your concern sample. Let's say you have acne, you are interested in buying product related to acne, you buy the sample box that cost you 40 AED. It's very much to cover the cost of delivery. You book an appointment, you enjoy your one-on-one session at home, and at the same time you can use the product that you are going to discuss with the beautician directly at home. It's kind of like having your own spa at home, and then you can redeem the price of the box on your next full-size purchase. So box distortion and live stream and paid sampling distortion. So we are really trying to bring some differentiators into the market and into our platform to be able to, let's say, connect more with the Gen Z expectation that they will be looking for innovation, not what you see on all the other websites on the market. And for us, differentiation is also a way to launch a new concept on this market. So in terms of content, and this is where it should have been like rich content. So we want to infuse this content into the skincare e-commerce journey. So we want to have content that are related to the scientific claim. And I think Sarah stood based on that because she needs the same content basically to social. And I think we all crave this kind of content. And even the customer, they want to see scientific claim, even though it's natural or organic product, I mean, they want to see the claims because it still has to work. It cannot just be natural and organic. So they also want to see the ingredients, and the results are also with content like before and after, and also the textures. So in terms of experience, what we want to do with our website, again, to drive Gen Z acceptance by replicating their social browsing. So we really want to make sure that we can embed like social user interface and user experience within our e-com journey. So the way that you look at the assets or creative, or the way that you browse on social, how we can replicate that on the site, on our e-commerce platform, and with the optimization of the platform, that's what we are aiming at. So here, I mean, you are all seen this one, super popular in Asia, where you can shop basically the video, and those are definitely the features that we are looking at to develop for Beauty Nation moving forward. Okay, so live stream walkthrough. So let me walk you through now our platform. Okay, so this is beautynation.me. So you have on our platform the opportunity, of course, to choose between the country. We have a mega menu that is not final right now. You will see over category moving forward. We'll have a category for Beauty Lab. So you will be featured on your own category, and it will be surfaced on the mega menu. And then we have different, we wanted to maximize, the discoverability of our product. So if we look, before we go through the home page, if we go quickly to a PLP, we have really put a lot of focus on our filter, where we want to facilitate the discoverability of a product through enhanced filtering, so that the customer can filter through the brand, the category, by type of skin, but also by concern. They will be also able to feature by ingredient preferences, by labels. So we have different labels, like if the product is natural, organic, homegrown, derm approved, they will be able to filter by formula type. If it's a balm, it's gel, it's more liquid. By fragrance family, fragrance is with a texture is a really important element of the choice of the product. They are really sensitive to the fragrance of their cream. And price, because price as well, Gen Z is quite price sensitive, and I think we need also to tackle the price. And it's not working, but it should be working. So that's for our filters and discoverability, and how we support discoverability. So if you look at the homepage, I mean, we have like a different hero banners to push our thematic, our marketing campaign, but also our tactical activity. Right now, we're very much focusing on set and have like a small promotion to align with the market and the Ramadan seasonality. We are also pushing our podcast because we want to push content and education and playful as well environment, not just commercial element. Then we have our Sheila Fave. Sheila is the name of our loyalty program, and it's basically our bestsellers or the product that we want to surface on the homepage. Then we have different paths to purchase. So our proposition is very much a curated beauty space. So we have two paths to purchase by skin type and by skin concern, where the products are already curated. So in terms of skin type, you can pick dry, oily, sensitive skin, or you can pick directly your concern, acne, the irritation, and T-zone. So if you pick a skin type, you are redirected, for instance, for a sensitive skin, you will be redirected to our routine page, where we're going to explain to you what is the sensitive skin, and we are able to feature different products there. So for instance, your product can be featured on the skin routine. We have one that is the hero product that we are telling among all of the products, this is the one that we recommend that you discover, but then they have their routine that is a five-step essential routine. So to keep it simple for them, because they are really new as Alice mentioned, this market is not, let's say, developed in terms of skincare. So we have to start from the beginning, from the essential routine, so the five-step routine. So cleanser, serum, moisturizer, and hair care on this one, because it's the sensitive one. And they are able then to, right now we only have one product, but we will have a carousel, and we can feature different products, but they can pick and choose. So we have already created that for them based on their skin type. Okay. Then we have like two sub-category product to again surface some thematic there. We have our shop, our Instagram, that is very much our path. Like you can shop by recommendation, what the others are shopping and are posting on our Instagram, and basically is the module where you can shop the feed of Instagram that are pulled directly to our website. We also have with our shop by discovery and inspiration path, we have shop by hidden gem. So basically those are really the niche product and the niche category that we want our customer to discover. We'll also be able to shop by ingredients. So we see and we change the ingredients bi-weekly. And they're also able to shop by brand. Then we also have our collage that is just like a replicate of our Instagram posts. We also have here our unique selling points. So for the launch and for the first 6 months, we are offering a free shipping with any order. That is quite a strong offer in this market, where no competitor is offering a free shipping without a threshold. We are also offering a free sample, so they can pick and choose during their checkout 3 samples among 6 samples. We are offering a gift as well with a threshold. So we have a secure payment and we have a customer service on WhatsApp and email available for them. So that's basically for the home page. So then I can show you super quickly then our podcast. So we had this podcast with Dr. Lancer brand, and the thematic of this podcast was how to get glowy and even skin. So we have like a quick intro on what is going to be on the podcast. So if you can listen to it, you will tell us what you think about it. It's super, it's a super educative and playful and fun as well. So then they can shop the podcast. All the products that have been discussed during this podcast are featured on the page. And they also can meet the brand. So Sarah was the representative of the brand on the podcast. And Sarah was basically discussing with our Sheila. So she has like 3 girls, Nadine, Mae, and Karin. And they were discussing together about Dr. Lancer, about their concern, about what they think about skincare, what are their needs. So we had Nadine, that is really a novice. We had Mae that is a skincare addict, and Karin, that is very much on makeup. And they had all of the 3 has like different concern and different question to Dr. Lancer. So then they can buy all the key products that they were, we have like more details here. And they can, the idea is then that the Sheila will be, because the Dr. Lancer provide during the podcast like a 3-step method for them to test during 2 weeks. And they will be posting then on Instagram their stories and tell us about what they have, what is their thoughts about the product. And we really want to keep it like really a true discussion with no like commercial or marketing jargon. It's very much it's without filter. It's very much for them to tell us whatever they think about the product. And they were quite straightforward during the podcast. So it was not, even the brand that was quite good and not being too commercial, because we know that, for instance, they are not going to use just Dr. Lancer, so they are allowed to speak about another brand and so forth. So that's for the podcast. And for the site. So I'm not going into much more details, but I will let you browse the site. Again, just remember that not all the features are live right now. And you can also look at our 3 categories that are skin, hair, body, and wellness. And as I was mentioning by the filter, but also from the mega menu, you can buy by product type, by skin type, and by concern. The idea is very much to have like a simple yet relevant taxonomy. So not like in some website, it's so crowded and there is so many subcategory and category that you get lost. So we have to keep it to ensure a maximum discoverability with again a minimalistic but relevant entry point on the taxonomy. So that's for the site. I'm going to go back to my presentation. So what is the brand opportunities and your opportunities at beautynation.me. So we really propose to the brand to accelerate the brand awareness and consideration to fuel the growth in UAE and KSA, because they are the two markets that we are focusing on, to reach a targeted Gen Z audience through our platform that I just presented you, but also through social, as Sarah was presenting earlier, through our CRM, through our loyalty program, and also through sampling. So you will have a brand page and a shop-in-shop. So we will design for each of your brand the brand page. We'll make it a rich content. We can embed there. It can be part of the audio project. So this brand page would be an audio page if you want to, and we can also think about having like a mini podcast in there. So in terms of the discoverability across the purchase path, as I've shown you, you have like different options. Shop by skin type, you can be featured on shop by skin type, shop by concerns, shop by brands, shop by ingredients, shop the routine, or shop the hidden gem. In terms of brand opportunity, the samples, so try it, love it, buy it. So I don't know what are your capabilities in terms of sample, but we would need, depending on what activation we're looking at, it would be nice to have like all vial samples, so roughly between 1.2 ml to 3 ml, 1.2 being like a sachet, or a deluxe sample between 5 ml to 7 ml, and even a discovery set. We can even think about, for instance, if you don't have enough SKU to build a discovery set, we can think about like a beauty lab discovery set where we merge all of your products into one set. The samples are important to drive recruitment. So we have it already live at checkout, but we can also activate sample as a pre-launch in terms of seeding. And we can also activate it in terms of paid sampling redemption. So you buy the sample and you redeem when you buy the full size, or the sample is sent to you with the full size. You try first the sample and then you keep the full size if you are happy. To trigger conversion, so we can incentivize the conversion with a sample, so with a spend qualifier or during a key moment. We can elevate consumer as well. So for instance, a consumer that is buying, I don't know, hair, we can target them and push skincare and vice versa. We can use elevate consumer using like VIP clienteling on basically our loyalty program, and also during the key moments. Go-to-market retro plan. So I know that we don't have yet a date for launch, but in an ideal world, this is the retro plan. So the kickoff for us is very much on the joint business plan. So to discuss with you what is the vision for the partnership, the raison d'être to be working together, identify our key priorities and targets, as well as adjustable levers to achieve those targets, and the way that we break it down. So intraday, basically, it's today. So the joint business session should be like 50 days before launch. So that brings basically 7 weeks before launch. The agenda of the joint business session for us is to discuss buying and planning, operation, the launch plan, the marketing support, and the content requirements. We will share all the template at that time and all what we need in an ideal world at this time. Then in terms of content delivery, we are expecting that 21 days before launch, so basically 3 weeks. So the delivery of the copy, the asset, the rich media. During the joint business plan session, we can discuss the translation part of it. Then we will have the go live on the D-Day, yeah. And we will move after that to a more account management phase. We'll define the cadence where we will look at the daily management of our partnership. We'll have our business review, and we'll also look at tactical activation moving forward, what we need to adjust based on the initial discussion and our planning. That's for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was as well very useful and very exciting.
Well, guys, now's the time for questions anyway, for sure. So we have the Beauty Nation team still here. Faces are gone, but any questions on any of the information that was just shared? I know there was quite a lot.
Yeah. So I have a question. I mean, so 50 days would put us at past second week of June, but in terms of who are we going to be liaising with to kind of put that buying plan assortment in place? Because I think that's pretty important to know as soon as possible to make sure, I mean, for everyone, we have enough stock here, we have the right assortment here. how that's going to work in terms of margin and pricing, especially if we're looking at maybe doing some kits and bundles, which they mentioned sell really well. So is that going to be covered today or more one-on-one with the team? What, when can we get a little bit more insight on that?
I mean, for us on our side, it will be a one-on-one where the joint business plan session should be where we tackle that, and it should be SAP for the 50 days. And this will be brand by brand. I mean, I don't know, Sheena, what you think, but that's what we are envision on our side.
Okay.
Sorry, can you say that again, Sabrina?
I was saying on our side, the planning session will happen when we discuss the joint business plan, because all the elements will be tackled there, from buying to planning to ops, the initial points to start with. And I imagine it's a one-on-one, or at least that's how we envision it, one-on-one with each of the brands.
Yeah. I think anyway, Astrid, in terms of like who you'll be dealing with for that, Rima, I think you can answer and give more clarity on that side of things for Beauty Nation.
So anything related to new brands onboarding the platform and, adding additional assortments or required documentations and so on. So I'll be your point of contact for that. And then I'll work hand in hand with Sabrina as well as with our ops team to make sure that you have all the requirements that we need in order to, have you on the website as well. And then anything to do, for example, with marketing in terms of influencer seeding or gifting, etc., will be with Tala and Sarah from the marketing team. Anything related to content in general, I'll be sharing it with you, and I'll be basically your point of contact, where I'll connect you with whoever is needed depending on the requirement.
But I think that, for me, I still think that for Beauty Nation and for the e-commerce onboarding, because at least the onboarding will be omni-channel, correct? Or we have a separate onboarding?
Ideally, it should be omni-channels to be able to really maximize the investment behind it.
Okay, this was for the demand planning. All right. Then the joint business plan, is it separately?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think the joint business plan is really very much an exercise that is cross-function. So where we will have like creation, e-commerce, merchandising, and marketing, and the brand in one room. So we can consolidate all at once because they are all interconnected. So we can build the plan on that day, and then we can roll it out in terms of deployments. Because if we keep like separate trades right from the beginning, with this timeline, it's going to be super challenging. So we have like one single view, one joint business plan, and then we deploy and we activate.
I have a question regarding the sampling and gift with GWPs. Is it ideal to have both sachets and like a deluxe mini in terms of sampling? Is that what you're looking for? Is it one or the other? Just to kind of get an idea, because we don't have both at the moment. So I'm just trying to think of what we need to develop in order to have the right sampling.
I think I can take this one. I think it's ideal to have both because based on what I was sharing, the outcome of the activation is different and the objective is different. If you have a sachet, obviously there is a COGS attached to it versus a deluxe, and deluxe tend to be super expensive. I mean, the container sometimes is even more expensive than what is inside. So it's very much what is the objective. With a sachet, we can give it at checkout. It's less targeting. We can do seeding. With the deluxe, it's more like a reward. We can incentivize the conversion. So it's very different. So the sachet will be very much for recruitment, where for the deluxe for me can be for recruitment, but then it has to be targeted because it has a higher value. And it will be also like a reward to incentivize again the conversion. So the objectives are different, but if you have only one, it's already good, let's say. So we can build some activation around it. But having both make you tackle different objectives.
Okay, thank you.
We may have. Sorry.
Oh.
Just a question. We may have gone over this, but the JBP day, 50 days before launch, is there a day that we have right after Eid that we're doing this? Like, is there a set day that we have in mind, or maybe a rough
So it hasn't been planned yet, but after this call, Arna, I'll work with Sabrina on identifying that, because I don't know what that looks like, but she'll give me the details, and I'll basically set those calls up so that you have them straight away. But I think in terms of for Eid, what I would suggest using that time for is like a lot of the documentation that Rima is going to be asking for, and the beauty and the faces team, in terms of like your supplier creation, item creation, and all those, having that documentation and stuff ready and stuff. And then after Eid, I'll work with Sabrina on that, because you'll also have to do a meeting with the faces team as well for the forecasting and understanding. And I think one of the things that would be amazing to get like a really good benefit out of this program is actually to understand how you work and drive yourself commercially. So we'll actually align even outside of Faces and Beauty Nation, but actually like one-to-one with maybe possibly me and Sarah to say, what do you want to try to achieve within each month, so we can see what's happening between both parties. Do we have more questions?
I have some, but it might be more because our product's not a traditional skincare product or serum. Like, so I guess we can talk maybe with the point of contact on like how sampling could also work. This is a little bit different, but we can do that one-on-one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was testing actually already a small piece of your, I don't know how to call it actually.
The tape.
Yeah, of the tape. So I think it's still nice on the sample. I think it works if you have like just
yeah, we can figure out maybe what the creative way
to be tested. Yeah.
Yeah, she loved it, Astrid. She came into the meeting the last day, and before I had even started, she was like sticking a piece to her, like, she's like, does somebody have a scissors? And she was like sticking. So it was well and truly tested throughout the day.
Amazing. Thank you, Sabrina. It's great to hear.
So I think sample will work.
But yeah, guys, like we're super excited, and I think as you've probably come to see now that each and every one of your brands and the products and what you're offering are actually super different from one another, and it's amazing to have all of you in one program together, and then getting to share this journey and coming onto these different platforms. And the Beauty Nation team are honestly like, they're so amazing. So I'm sure this is going to be like a really enjoyable program for you. Where you can absolutely smash it, and all of them really care a lot as well about up and coming founders and entrepreneurs and brands. So make sure to use them as best as possible throughout the program. I'm sure their calendars aren't going to be as excited, but we want to get the most out of this, and they're super helpful. So yeah, I'm just super happy that we have them all on board, and it's been really exciting because they've been a part of. So some of you have probably already met Alice, and Alexis isn't here at the moment. She's currently on holiday box. So she'll be back again, and she's amazing. And she also had like an e-com business startup as well. So she understands the journey. So yeah, it's super exciting. But Alice, Beauty Nation team, do you have any final wordings or anything before the brands head off on their day?
No, I think you wrapped it up pretty well. I mean, like Sinead said, we're super excited to have you on board. I was part of the first cohort, and I can already say that the second cohort is just going to be like way ahead in terms of quality of brands, quality of execution. So we really look forward. It's super exciting as well because like we're also on that sort of journey with Beauty Nation. So I'm glad we're really going to be able to sort of go into that journey together as well, and sort of mutually benefit one another. So really looking forward to it and to the collaboration.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
So I will share their emails, or all of the brands' emails, with the Beauty Nation team, so they can send you over stuff. And again, this is kind of stuff that you can be working on during Eid, and it will help that when you come back, I'll have calls set up with you individually with the Beauty Nation team and you individually with the Faces team to start looking at that process ahead of going live. which is so exciting. It's so around the corner. Like once the finishes, it's like going to be a run through. But then we also have the boot camp sessions as well. And so, yeah, just lots to be excited and look forward to. So I have this recorded. So I will send this out to you possibly either this evening or tomorrow with the starter pack. But I just want to thank all the brands for coming on today. It's great. Keep up the dedication of coming. And all of the Beauty Nation team and the Faces team who've left as well. It's super informative, and we know it's a busy period for you right now. So thank you for taking the time out to go through that explanation.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shani.
Thank you so much.
I'll see some of your faces tomorrow.
Bye.
Later on. But thanks a million, guys. Have a great day. See you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.